Former US President Donald Trump has arrived back in court today, as opening statements are due to begin any moment in his New York hush money trial.
He is facing charges of falsifying business records to conceal hush money payments that were made to a porn star.
Just before he went to court, he addressed reporters, saying that the trial was an attempt to disrupt his campaign to be the next US president. Take a listen to what he said just some moments ago. Actually, let's not. Let's talk instead to the chair of Republicans overseas, Greg Swenson. While we try and get together that clip, we might play it a little bit later. But Greg, just break down for us what is actually on trial here. Donald Trump disputes that he had an affair with this person, but he doesn't dispute that he paid hush money. But it's actually about some peculiar bit of accounting.
Right. And it's a great question, because this is not about paying a porn star or even having an affair with a porn star. It's about falsifying business records, which is a real stretch, to say the least. That's actually a misdemeanor, according to New York law. So now you have Alvin Bragg, who campaigned on the theme of "I'm going to get Trump," similar to Letitia James, who in a way did get Trump with the civil case a few weeks ago. And so they've campaigned on this, and then what he's done is turned a misdemeanor, and through very, very questionable legal standards, turning the misdemeanor into a felony. He's doing that by tying it to campaign finance law, all of which is a real stretch. This is just weaponization of the justice system. And they've got potentially four trials going on at the same time, but four indictments that are some of which are getting underway, including this one. So it's really taking away President Trump's rights to due process and to a fair trial. So it's really obscene right now.
Well, Greg, we now do have what Donald Trump said just some moments ago. Let's take a listen.
Thank you very much. I just want to say before we begin, these are all Biden trials. This is done as election interference. Everybody knows it. I'm here instead of being able to be in Pennsylvania and Georgia and lots of other places campaigning. And it's very unfair. Fortunately, the poll numbers are very good. They've been going up because people understand what's going on. This is a witch hunt, and it's a shame. And it comes out of Washington. It's in coordination with Washington, everything, including the DA's office. It's in coordination with Washington. I just want people to understand that this is done for purposes of hurting the opponent of the worst president in the history of our country.
Trump, they're saying that this is essentially vexatious. How is this going down with Trump's supporter base? Do people feel that American democracy is being undermined by this use of the legal system?
Yeah, absolutely, Emma. I mean, this is the ultimate election interference. And so to answer your question about his supporters, surely it's really helped. It clearly helped President Trump in the nomination process. You know, there were a handful of voters that were considering other candidates. A year ago at this time, you know, Trump was basically tied with Ron DeSantis in the polling. And then after Alvin Bragg indicted President Trump, Trump's numbers went up 15, most of which came from DeSantis. It's a 30-point swing. It's very similar to the swing he received after the Mar-a-Lago raid, where he also had a 30-point swing. So, you know, what you're seeing is the Republicans, even those who weren't necessarily supporting Trump, really coming to his aid and supporting him. The question is, how does it work for the general electorate? I was afraid 6 months ago that these indictments, especially the Alvin Bragg indictment, this particular trial in New York, would really help Trump in the nomination, which it did, and it really secured it for him. It basically ended the Republican contest, these four indictments. But the question is, you know, would it hurt him in the general? I'm not so sure about that now. He's actually getting support from independents that also see this as real weaponization of the justice system. And President Trump is right. This is all coming from the Biden White House.
Really, really interesting stuff. Although there are some polls now that do show that Donald Trump is slipping down a little bit, that Joe Biden has had a bit of a rebound, particularly after that State of the Union address that was better received than many were expecting. This is still a nail-biter in terms of who might win.
Absolutely. And I think, look, the Trump campaign has confidence right now. They are leading in most of the swing state polls. They're up 4 points in most of the critical swing states. And he's still leading slightly in the polls. But President Biden has come back a few points, but only a few points, and partly because his approval ratings are up from the terrible lows that they hit. You know, he was at 37, 38. Now he's at 40, 42. So President Biden's coming back. I don't think it was because of the State of the Union speech. If anything, that showed that he's just a bitter and angry old man candidate. But he has in the last 2 or 3 weeks come back a little bit. But it's still Trump's race to lose.
Well, Greg Swenson, thank you for talking through all
of
that. Really appreciate it.